Welcome to MSL Talk with Tom Caravela, a podcast specifically designed for MSLs and all things field medical. Welcome back, everyone. Today, I am doing a solo podcast on the differences between the Medical Science Liaison and Medical Affairs board certification programs. To cert or not to cert? That is the question. So I'm going to do a comparison. I hope you guys enjoy this. A lot of people have been asking me about this topic and asking me to cover it because they're confused about the different options that are available out there. So I hope this is helpful. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram, and check us out on MSL Talk Live, which is on the Clubhouse app. And that's the first Tuesday of every month at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. Thanks again for joining me, everyone. As I mentioned, I am going to take a few minutes to do a solo podcast about MSL and medical affairs board certification programs. This is a question that I get a lot, and I want to unpack this and see if I can provide some information, some comparisons, so that I can help you guys make decisions and figure out which might be the best for you if these programs are best for you. I'm going to offer my opinion, but I'm going to wait until the end, of course, to offer my opinion on how I feel about these programs and how I feel about training programs in general. Just a quick hint, as you guys know, you've heard me say before, and I'm going to say it again. I think that MSLs or anyone breaking into the industry, you need to be lifelong learners and you need to be experts. So that's just a hint as to kind of what I'm going to suggest or offer. So I am going to take a look at 3 different programs, board certification programs, one at a time, so that I can kind of highlight some of the specifics, and also you'll see the differences between the 3, and hopefully it'll give you some information where you can, hopefully take that and make a decision as to what you want to do, if you want to embark in one of these or not. So the first one I'm going to start with is what's called the BCMAS program, and that is through the ACMA. So the ACMA is the Accreditation Council for Medical Affairs, and BCMAS stands for Board Certified Medical Affairs Specialist. And that would actually be the title that you can add to your resume or your CV once you complete the certification program, which is a nice little benefit to the program. I know these guys well, know Will Solomon. He's the founder and the creator of the BCMS program. I know that a lot was put into this. It's very thorough. It's very well done. It's accredited, and there's definitely a lot of information available and provided for people that want to get involved in the ACMA and want to consider getting this certification. But here are some of the nuances to it. So, first question is, who would this program be for? Because there's varying degrees and differences of who qualifies for these different certification programs. So first and foremost, in order to qualify for the BCMAS program, it looks like you have to be either an MD, PharmD, PhD, DO, MBBS, DNP, NPPA, BPharm, or PsychD or PhysD. I'm not exactly sure how they say that, but I should probably know that. I'm a recruiter and I work in this space. But anyway, there's a PSY and a D after it. If you have it, then you're qualified. So that's the first thing. You don't necessarily have to be a medical science liaison or necessarily be in medical affairs, but you do have to have that degree. So this is something that is possible for somebody who's an aspiring MSL. It's also for somebody that might not necessarily want to be in the MSL role, but wants to be in a medical affairs role. So I think it's somewhat broad. The program itself is comprised of, and some of the top features are 20 comprehensive modules with knowledge checks, problem-based case studies, unlimited 24/7 live chat support, 6 months of unlimited access, 200 plus question practice test bank, and then final board examination is all included in the price. We'll get into the pricing in a second. From what my research has shown me, and if you see me, I have papers all over my desk. So I'm probably not going to put this on YouTube because it's just going to be me looking at all of my notes. This program is kind of a self-contained unit in that it includes 20 self-paced online training modules that I guess everything that's provided is all you kind of need to know to pass the exam. Everything's in their learning management system, and you have access to it, and it will provide you with pre and post quizzes. It's administered, or they utilize ProctorU, which I think is important to know. And they're suggesting that it would take between 3 and 4 months to complete this program, depending obviously on the amount of time that you devote to studying. You have access to the program for, I believe, 6 months of access for the content. And I believe each module takes 2 hours to complete, I believe. So again, guys, I'm pulling all this from notes from my website, from their websites. I hope that I'm 100% accurate, and I apologize if I'm messing anything up. And I do want to direct you to doing some research on your own to make sure that all of this stuff is still accurate. One of the nice benefits, I believe, through on the BCMAS program is that some of the modules are eligible for CME or CE credits for MDs and PharmDs. So that's definitely a nice benefit. As far as the costs that are associated, the program is about $2,000. It looks like the application fee is $49. The BCMS online course is $1,000. The examination fee is $800, and the credentialing fee is $150. Now, there is a maintenance and renewal of certification that's required. So the BMS certification must be renewed every 5 years. The cost of recertification is $499. And it says that there are 2 paths for maintaining and renewing the certification: retaking and passing the board exam, or completing 20 hours of continuing education provided by the ACMA. So that is the deal with the BCMAS program. The next board certification program available is through the Medical Science Liaisons Society, and it's known as the MSL-BC certification. The MSL Society, if you are not aware, is also an accredited organization. They have a huge board of top MSL leaders. I just got back from the MSL Society conference in Vegas, and they do an awesome job. They do an awesome job for the industry. There's a lot of really good information. If you become a member of the MSL Society, you have access to all of the data and research and all the studies and all of the resources that they have available. And it also will give you a discount on this program if you're interested. We'll get into the costs later. So who is eligible to be an MSL-BC? Well, it sounds like the first thing that happens is you have to complete an application with job history, which is so that it's verified that you have worked as an MSL or MSL manager for at least a year. That's a requirement, which means that the MSL-BC program is really for someone that's in the industry already. So it's not for aspiring MSLs. So if there's any aspiring MSLs that want to take advantage of this program, unfortunately, you're not going to be eligible. But I will say the MSL Society has a lot of great programs for aspiring MSLs, and you should consider going to the conference because it's a lot of fun, and they have education tracks specifically for aspiring MSLs. And like I said, Samuel Dyer and Juliana and the whole team over there, they did a great job it was just last week, and I have to give them credit. They definitely put together some really great content, and it's a lot of fun. So as far as this this program, in addition, the one thing that also differs from the MSL-BC versus the BCMAS program is that you don't need a terminal degree to be eligible to complete the certification. You just need a bachelor's degree maximum. So that's a big difference, obviously. But again, you do have to be an MSL versus the other program where you don't have to be an MSL, but you have to have the terminal degree. So interesting, definitely interesting nuances between the two. As far as how this is, this program is also administered through ProctorU, or it's utilized through ProctorU. It sounds like the MSL-BC program will take about 4 hours. It's 140 question multiple choice exam. And I believe that when you apply for the exam, you're given the reference materials. So it looks like the MSL Society provides a 5-page detailed overview of the 3 content areas that are covered. So there's 14 tasks, 60 steps. And they also give you a whole slew of reference links and materials that will help you to prepare for the exam. So I think everything is also provided for you so that you will be successful in completing the exam. Now, as far as the cost associated with this, this program comes in at a very different price point. It is $450 for an MSL Society member. It's $550 for a non-member. So it looks like the way it works is your initial examination attempt is, again, $450 for members, $550 for non-members. But if you fail the exam and you have to take it again, there's an additional fee. So for members, it's $300. For non-members, it's $400. So that is the MSL-BC program through the MSL Society. So the last one, which I'm not all that familiar with, but I do see it out there. There's an organization called From Science to Pharma. So it's FSTP. And they have a program which is BC-MSL Cert. And from looking at their website, it appears that this program is really geared towards aspiring MSLs. That's what it looked like to me. It says that they have a comprehensive board certified MSL training program, which consists of 12 MSL training and MSL recruitment videos specifically designed by senior MSLs and medical affairs professionals, access to their MSL Academy that provides in-depth training, and then access to one-on-one coaching. And they have resources, and there's even some career development stuff in here. I don't really have a lot of information on what the exam looks like itself as far as the modules and all that stuff. But what I do have is some pricing. So I have 3 different levels of pricing from what I can tell. There's the silver or basic level, which is $599. That does include their BC MSL certification. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But then if you want to upgrade it for $999, you can get their gold or advanced membership. And that will also have the certification program. If you want to go to their platinum or professional membership, it's $14.99. That also includes their BC MSL certification program. So there's 3 different types of certifications that I was able to find out there. And I know that there's a lot of resources out there for MSLs, for aspiring MSLs. There's some really great coaches that are out there, and websites, and there's a lot of really good information. So I promise to stick to just the certification stuff today. So I'm not going to really get too far in the weeds with all the other programs that are available, but there's some great resources out there. And I promise to give you my opinion. So should you consider a certification or an online training program? Well, first and foremost, as you know, I am a big proponent of continuing education, and I'm a big proponent of making efforts every day to put yourself in the position where you become a subject matter expert in something. And if you want to be an MSL, or if you're already an MSL, I think that you need to be a lifelong learner. Think you need to seek out training programs, mentors, and you need to take daily effort in educating yourself and improving yourself. Here are the pros and cons, in my opinion, to certifications. Should you certify or should you not certify? Well, first and foremost, as far as on the pro side, I think certifications will show a commitment to the profession. It shows a commitment to the role. I think that you can, when you're interviewing for a position and you have credentials, it shows that you took the effort, that you are making a commitment, and hopefully that's going to translate to, to the people that are reviewing you as a candidate, and they'll see that you got additional education and you got additional certification, which you don't have to do. So that leads me to number two. It definitely enhances your CV. It will show that you have extra credentials on top of whether it's your PhD, PharmD, MD, whatever you might be. Or if you don't have a terminal degree, it does add extra education. It'll also educate you and provide knowledge. So if you're looking to break into the industry, or if you're in the industry and you're looking for resources to help you learn and come up to speed quicker on specific details and information as it relates to medical affairs, the MSL role, and career development, it definitely will give you and help you with that. Here are the cons. We just went over the costs. Certification and training programs can be expensive. Some of them are obviously more affordable than others. But it's the type of thing where you have to look at the big picture. You have to look at how many different programs are you going to invest in over the course of a month, a year. There's a lot of things that you are going to be responsible for, and you have to decide, can I afford it? Is it necessary? Is it something that I should be committing myself to, or is it just an added expense that I'm not going to get the return on investment, or it's not mandatory for me? You have to decide that. I can't really decide, what your situation is and if it makes sense for you to invest the money. The second thing is, and I tell people this all the time, a certification, while nice to have, it's not going to guarantee you a job. It's not going to guarantee that you're going to break into the industry, and it's not going to guarantee you a promotion. It absolutely will not. I think that all hiring managers have their own opinion on these types of programs. Some see it as a distinction that makes a big difference, which obviously is very positive. Some don't. Some look at it. This is not my opinion. I've asked people. I've asked hiring managers. I even have people on this podcast that I've asked, and they've said to me, "No, Tom, doesn't make any difference at all." I look at it and I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, whatever." And then some people are like, "Oh, wow, look, I saw this person has this. Let me pay a little extra attention." I've heard both sides of it, so take that information for what it's worth. And I think that, again, it's just going to vary. The other thing too is these are training programs. These certification programs are training programs, but they may not necessarily give you transferable skills. It's not going to prove that you did the role. It's not going to prove that you necessarily have the skills. It is going to prove that you went out to get knowledge and you were able to learn, and hopefully you can prove that, through interviews or whatever else. that you got a lot out of it, and it's going to make you a better candidate because you're going to be better positioned and better prepared for interviews. You can have more to draw off of as you're speaking to folks, and maybe it makes you that much more professional. But again, it doesn't necessarily, give you the transferable skills. That's something you have to prove. You always have to prove that. So in a nutshell, I really think that this is an individual decision. You have to look at, what is my situation? Am I an aspiring MSL? And what are my goals? Do I have a D degree? Am I an MSL that already has a year, 2, 3, 4 years of experience, an MSL manager? And if so, what are my goals? What am I looking to do? What am I looking to accomplish from this? What am I going to get out of it? And by asking all these, and there's a lot of questions, you just have to really kind of sit down with yourself and say, hey, do I make this commitment? A lot of it also is, maybe there's a time commitment. Maybe it's just like, hey, I can't put one more thing on my plate. I'm trying really hard to be a top performer, to position myself for promotion. This might not be the best thing for me to do because I don't have the time to commit to something like this, because I'm going to need to put extra effort into it. So that's another piece of it. So look, I want to commend the folks that have come up with these programs, and give them credit for adding to the fiber of the medical science liaison and the medical affairs community. I also want to mention MAPS, by the way. The Medical Affairs Professional Society does a great job. Their conference is coming up in March, and they have a lot of education programs available. I don't think they have anything that would be considered a certification program, at least not that I'm aware of. I guess that's for another episode. But from what I understand, these are the certification programs that are now available. I hope this was helpful. I wanted to make it brief. I wanted to fill in for, I actually had somebody that canceled on me. So, and based on the conversation I had last week, I figured, people really want to know about this stuff. So hopefully this is beneficial to you. And don't forget to reach out to me on LinkedIn and connect with me if you haven't done so already. Definitely love to add you guys to my professional network. And I want to wish you all the best. Thank you for listening to this program. If it's helped you, please share it. Share it with other people, whether they're MSLs or MSL leaders, aspiring MSLs. So many people came out to me at the MSL Society conference and told me how great, how beneficial it was for them, and how great they found the info, and they've been sharing it. I can't thank you enough. We're one of the fastest growing podcasts out there, and that's because of you guys. So best of luck to you. Thanks for listening. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe so that you don't miss episodes in the future, and feel free to leave a rating or a review or a comment. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.